short series of live stream that did not pick up, but I was streaming a game called Grandizer, Feast of the Wolf, and I was using OBS from Steam, and wasn't as good. But I mean, it did the job, but it wasn't as intuitive as StreamYard was.
Yeah, I did do OBS too. My friends introduced it to me, and it kind of was a little bit weird for me. And then when Ninja Build showed me this, I was like, "Oh, okay, great. I'll give it a shot. It's a lot easier than OBS, so I'm going to go with that and
Yeah, I
hopefully
like it.
continue on."
Are we seeing stuff from Twitch? Yes, we are.
Yep.
I am not on Twitch. It's one of the platforms that I feel I am not that good at. So
Oop. I apologize. I have a have an older son that's autistic, so if you hear any loud noises, my wife is probably upstairs trying
mm,
to entertain and all that stuff. So,
yeah,
and hello, Catherine. How are you this evening?
that's my girlfriend.
Welcome to the stream. Glad you're able to come and join us this evening. So let me get on to the question. So the first question I'd like to ask you is, what started you into collecting what you collect?
Rodimus Primal, basically. So I don't know, 5 years ago now. I'd have to go back and look at the age of my oldest picture, but basically, I was 40 and kind of going through midlife without knowing it. Like I didn't feel like I felt something was missing. I should do something else, or I didn't know if it was work or if it was. But then I, I don't know. I was cleaning my bathroom and I was looking for something to play, and I saw the Primus and the Quintus on video from Rodimus Primal, one of his earliest retrospective, and I just listened to it, and then I listened to more retrospective, and then when they did a live stream with, I think it was Kate, yeah, it was Kato and Patriot Prime, and then they were showing off their collection, and I'm like, I probably could get into that, and honestly, I really always wanted to collect G1 toys, because that's what I grew up with, but when War for Cybertron Siege came out, and then after that Earthrise, that's pretty much where I started, Wave 2 of Earthrise. So I could still get some of the Siege figure, but it was like I found some in at discounts and everything. So I told my son as a joke, like as an excuse, I said, "Why don't you buy me an Optimus Prime Earthrise for my birthday?" And I just want to see the face of my father-in-law, you know, as a joke, because he keeps complaining every time we do like Christmas gift exchange and stuff like that. He said, "Oh, I put some tools on that list and like stuff I don't need or don't really want." But for him, like one time he went and picked up gift cards for comic books, and that was an alien world for him, seeing a bunch of geeks playing board games in a store and stuff like that. So I think that traumatized him. So, but I was, he's a great father-in-law and all. So, but I just wanted to have that. But they didn't have an Optimus Prime, so he bought me Siege, Sideswipe, and Earthrise Wheeljack,
Those are
and
some good molds too.
started collecting. That was in February, and I waited until Father's Day, and then I picked up Astro Train and Soundwave from Siege, and well, you know, that's the result behind me. So yeah, so it's Rodimus Primal's fault, basically.
I have other stories on that one, but this is all about you today. So I'm going to ask you the next question. So, outside of Transformers, what were other like cartoon or animations that caught your interest?
Well, actually, Transformer when I was growing up wasn't my biggest interest. It was He-Man,
Oh,
Masters of the Universe. I watched that every day. That was my show, and then after that, I did watch, Transformers and GI Joe, Thundercats, Jam, the great ones.
yep.
But He-Man was my go-to show. Like I had tons of Masters of the Universe collectibles, which I gave away to a freaking daycare when we left up north to come here. We didn't have enough room, so I just gave all those fantastic toys away.
They don't make them
That
like they
was
used to. I know that.
yeah. Well, yeah. These are pricey now if you want to get originals.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've grew out of He-Man,
Hmm.
and so I haven't started collecting the Masterverse or hey Norbs. So
Okay.
I haven't dabbled in the retro line or but I'm tempted, like Buzz Off was really one of my favorite figures growing up. Battle Armor E-Man for they did one for the Masterverse, but it doesn't spin on the chest, so that's me.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it just clip on. You clip the damage over the armor, so. But
that's what
I'd
made
like
it
to get
special.
those, but I'm refraining from starting other lines. I mean, I have a couple things that are not, um, you know, Transformers, a couple Dungeons and Dragons, the Dice Slings, and but what started it all was really a show called Grandizer Giant UFO Robo, or just UFO Robo. What you guys in the state? You're in the states, right?
Yes,
All right. So what you guys had in the states in the '70s as Shogun Warrior.
yes. If, in fact, the only way I was able to watch Shogun Warriors, there was back in the day. This is how far back we probably go when TVs had the UHF knobs, and I had to put it on channel 47, which was at the time a Spanish channel, and they aired two things that were actually English, and that Shogun Warriors was one of them. The other one was wrestling. So I was
Okay.
able to get WWF as well as Stampede Wrestling. So that's how far we got up on that channel for the
Okay.
UHF. But yeah, no, that's Shogun Wars is one of the first animes I got to watch outside from Battle of the Planets or Gotcha Man.
Yeah. In Quebec, we didn't get, to my knowledge, we didn't get the Mazinger, but we did get the Grandizer all seasons. The theme song was different in Quebec than it was for the European release,
Right. Yeah.
and it was in both countries. I think that the theme song actually played on the radio, like each respective theme song played on the radio. So to have a cartoon, play on the radio, that's just insane.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. They've never really done that in the States. Like
I don't
one
think
thing.
so. You
Yeah.
know,
One thing about the United States, everything basically came after, like say, like Canada would get everything from like television to radio. We would be the ones about 10 years behind you guys on catching up with anime and stuff. So
yeah,
like,
because anime was translated in France, right, and then after that, imported to Quebec or exported to Quebec,
right.
and there's still a crazy following in Quebec for Granda. Well, what we call him is Goldorak, and the pilot is Actarus, and all the names are different. The voice acting wasn't that great, to be honest. And then I recently played the game. That's why I was telling you earlier. Uh,
Yep.
and I got pretty actually Bird the Stormtrooper probably was my most faithful watcher. He came to at least 3 videos. So that was just fun. But I mean, he's big. He's actually the one who reminded me of those shows. And then after that, I got a Grandizer model kit, like the
Yep.
Infinitism.
To
And
see one of those like Grandizer, the actual toys, I think they're running about what? I think I saw one for going for about $300 to $400.
yeah, oh yeah. There's a complete kit with all the dizers, like adapters for his back. So if you want to go underwater or drill through the earth and stuff like that, and it's super expensive. So I'm not, unfortunately, won't be getting that. But I keep looking for new releases and stuff like that. So,
Uh,
but yeah,
that, that's a great series. It was a great series. It still is a great series, no matter what
yeah.
anybody.
Well,
Is.
it's kind of corny, like in English, what's his name? Oh, Duke Fleet. He
Mhm.
was, or Daisuke. He was really dramatic, like peering at the horizon, holding his fists. I will not let them take Earth. And it's like, come on, man. Nobody says that. Not anymore, But back then, that's what you had.
Oh,
So,
especially yes. I mean, even when they released the like what America would call like the super popular ones, like Voltron, you would just see like Keith
yeah,
say, form, feet, and legs, and it was like, wow. As a kid, you're like, you don't notice this stuff. It's like, yes, you're into it. Form, feet, and legs. As an adult, you're like, my God, the dialogue was so stale
yeah.
and stupid. It's like, how did we watch this when we were growing up? Because at the
No,
time,
you,
it was
you don't care
pioneering.
about the when you're a kid, you don't care about the voice, you don't care about the story. You just want to see a
Mhm.
cool fight. You know, in Transformers, my favorite scene was in Heavy Metal Wars when the Dinobots are fighting Devastator.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, it's not the greatest written episode. I mean, it's pretty good, but it's just we look for different things.
So here's a
So
common, yeah. So here's a common question I asked a couple of people that I ran into, like Walmart and everything else. The question is, what are your thoughts on people looking at you differently when you buy collectibles for yourself and not for your son on certain situations?
well, I don't really have that problem because I have a sponsor who's across the river, so he just gets me all the main line.
Okay.
So I don't, and that's what I collect, mostly main lines, except for Devastator over there.
Oh, the
Uh,
gym. Oh, yeah.
believe
That is beautiful.
Megatron is a Jinbao as well. So yeah, it's mostly mainline stuff. So I don't shop. I'll go at Toys R Us because there's a couple exclusives I'll want. Like, well, now I don't know if I think the Buzzworthy line is dying, so I don't think I'll go back to Toys R Us because I mean the origin figure Wheeljack Bumblebee, I had to get them there. So
Yeah, that's going to be the finale figure for that series for Origins, I believe, because I really doubt they're going to come out with a Origin Soundwave. That would be, if
while we
anybody,
already have one.
yeah, if
With the
anybody,
Siege Soundwave, you can just do it, or the Legacy Soundwave. Now, you
yep,
know
exactly.
you
If
can use
anybody
that.
new is into the series, and you go out and say, "Oh, I got to get me a Origin Soundwave," stop. Don't waste the
Yeah.
$35. Canada would be probably what 50 for,
Uh, no, I think they're still at 45 or 44.99.
and that's for the Voyager series, or the because the deluxes I know they're starting to climb in price here in the states.
The deluxe are at 34.99 right now.
Yeah,
Uh,
deluxe down
and
here
then
about
the leaders are at 74.
wow.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to say that like their I think leader price down here is about 54 to 59.99 still. But also depending on if you do like like a mail order or something like that.
Yeah.
So you're like paying for shipping and handling, which jacks it up even higher. But it's just insane how much the prices have gone up on these items, and it's like they're kids' toys. Why? And at least if you're going to raise the prices, I know you stressed it just as much as other reviewers that make the quality make the quality good,
Yeah.
make it to where we can enjoy what we do, not struggle and fight. Because I know Tiger Hawk was an example of a struggle. It's like you want to like it, but I mean I don't know after the time from when you
Well,
had
okay.
so
There was a couple things with Tiger Hawk that bugged me. That still bugged me. I did not mistransform, but there was one peg I forgot. Like I just didn't see it in the back where the legs plug in, and then after that it goes for a better closure. So I
right.
caught that while I was editing, or actually after I saw it, and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna reshoot the whole thing. So, but I did write down in text. But yeah, that's a porn bot.
Then we
Yeah.
better hide it. I'm still trying to get used to this, so I'll keep that off the air.
Yeah, I haven't had
But
one of those in a while.
I'm surprised that this is my first one, I think, but we'll keep it off.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, with Tiger Hawk, I think the issue I had with mine was the chest closing up. Because if you don't align certain
Yeah,
things a certain way, that becomes a brutal,
yeah.
stressful
And my
situation.
ego legs in the back when I put it in robe and beast mode, it's super loose. So it's just a couple annoyances, but it's a great looking toy. I mean, he does the
Yeah.
job. And maybe I was just too excited to get it. So
But you're being completely honest about it. You said the truth behind it, and there
yeah,
was other ones that, like I said, my experience was I like it, but I saw some of the tolerance issues that you were going through, which would make a buzzkill for enjoying it even more.
yeah.
I mean, right now I
According to
just kept it in the
PPR,
alpha
I'm the
version. I
only
haven't
one
changed it
who
to
had
robot.
issue with it. So it happens.
I
But I mean,
there's guys.
I have to say I'm
Oh yeah,
very lucky with figures, QC issue and stuff like that. I don't have
yeah.
that many. I see a lot of people say, "Oh, this is broken. This flipped out. This." I'm not seeing it. Like for most figures, I don't have yellowing, so pretty lucky.
I think the only yellowing. I think yeah. I don't know if you had it with Cyclonus. Speed Cyclonus, it actually started to do that yellowing on mine. If you've
I don't
got the
think
copy
so.
that on the
He's
gray,
still pretty gray.
that's good. That's good. I
Yeah.
know a lot of us in the States, and I've noticed that too when it comes to these with the quality situation. People accuse, like they say, oh, it's because it's in the sunlight or it's this and all that. I've had mine exposed to everything under the sun, and it still remained the same. It's, I guess, just whoever the warehouse and the manufacturer that has these plastics, when they produce
Yeah.
it, it causes issues because I still have my another example is the Shattered Glass Starscream. I've had that
Right.
for about 3 years. I haven't taken it out of the box, but it's been exposed to a couple of different elements, and it's still pure white. But yet, I got Siege Jetfire or Skyfire, had him out of the box since day one, and he
Yeah.
still looks like he's pristine in the box.
They should
But
really hire scientists to figure out why certain areas. I think it has to do with the air. Maybe it's, if you're close to the sea, you have saltine air, so it yellows. Or maybe you're in Arizona and it's super dry, so the plastic dries faster and then yellows. I don't know. I'm not a chemist, but
yeah,
it's really weird. Like I don't have like my Jetfire's Skyfire. I don't like that I now refer to him as Jetfire instead of Skyfire. But anyway, he's still white, So yeah, I've been lucky.
yeah, no, I mean it's literally luck of the draw for everybody that's had a issue with the yellowing. So
Yeah.
all right. So my next question is, and this is kind of like you mentioned it before because we got into a little bit when you said with Bert the Stormtrooper. Aside from collecting things that you do, I also noticed that you are a fan of video games.
I am.
And again, I've noticed that the name Razyel Kayne, was that like a basis off of your decision to use it for YouTube?
It was Xbox actually. My moniker for the longest time was Rain from Mortal Kombat. I took the name, loved the idea of a purple ninja and everything. But then when I got my Xbox Live account or free version or whatever, I couldn't pick Rain. And so I went with at the time I was playing a lot of Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen 2, and Legacy of Kain
Excellent game.
Defiance came out. And then so I just wanted Raziel. Actually, I wanted Kane, but I thought Kane was a dumb first name for you. So I just did the Raziel Kane, which my friend, really made fun of me for a while because they discovered that Raziel was the an angel. It's like the angel of mystery or something like that. So they just teased me about, oh, you're being mysterious and shit like that for ages. And then Cain being the first murderer. So depending where you get your stories from, but yeah, Raziel Kane was, and then it's spelled completely wrong
Yep.
because somebody else had it. Somebody else on Xbox Live had Raziel Kane with I's instead of Y's. And then my friend, I think actually it's my friend Vince, who said, "Why not just put Y's?" I'm like, "Oh, okay." So, and I
couldn't
think,
see it any other way. Yeah, I couldn't see your name any other way than
well,
what you have right now.
in the actual Legacy of Kane franchise, it's spelled Raziel with an I, and Kane is actually Cain. There's no
Yep.
E. And actually, I had to add the E
Uh-oh.
because Raziel Kane with two Y's was taken as well. So yeah, so I'm not the original. If I've never actually played online, so for on Xbox. So, but that's where the moniker comes from.
Oh, cool deal. And any other games you play aside from which
Well,
is
tons of game. And my favorite franchise was Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. I didn't play the third one yet because I don't want to spend $80 on it. But yeah, it was a good story, good franchise. Diablo. I spent so much time on Diablo, the original. A little less on the second one. Didn't play the third one. But when I researched Paul Eiding, the voice of Perceptor, I realized how much time he and I actually spent together. Like I was playing the game, and I would listen to the narrative every time because it was just so cool, and it's him. So
Cool
yeah,
deal.
fun time. Try to lift my camera a little bit. Sorry,
Thanks. I'm not,
it's a
no,
new
it's okay.
camera, not a new camera. It's a new ring light, and because my sister, no, who got me the anyway, I got a new ring light and a new mic stand. I was tired of a tripod, and so yeah.
Yeah, it's the ring light that you can do like the 50 million colors on it too, right?
No, I don't think so. I think this one has three colors.
Oh,
It's just yeah. I don't go for expensive stuff for that. It's really just to have lighting on. You know
oh man, if I
the
was able to help anybody out because I had Walmart had the ring lights and they actually had I want to say this was like a 16-inch light and they had it for $20 and it does like the multiple colors and I usually try to look out for everybody to try and get it if I can get it for a better price than what anybody else can get. It's like yeah, here I'll send it to you. Don't worry about it. So if I see another one again, I'll let you know.
yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate that though that you sent it to me because really those things they've been announced in like December of 2022, 2020, yeah, 2022, and I really like the Jada stuff, but it's just I emailed them and they said, "Oh, we don't disclose information about upcoming toys." I'm like, just give me a date.
Yeah,
I don't need to know which store and how much money you're gonna make on it. I just want to know when.
yeah.
So
I think it's because they feel it's like oh, you either have the people that are going to go out there and try and buy it just to like scalp it to everybody else, and it's like and it messes it up
potentially,
for everybody else that's legitimate for
yeah.
collecting, and it's like, oh, come on. And,
I
first
mean,
mass, make some mass production on it, especially if you know it's going to be a popular thing. Don't make a super popular character and only sell 20 of them to a
yeah,
group of people that's like 1,000 that'll buy it in a heartbeat, and then have the scalpers go out there, grab it off the shelves, and be like, okay, $20, I'll sell it for $100 to the highest bidder.
yeah.
Wrong. It completely destroys everything.
I never feed the scalpers. So that's to me, that's kind of ruining. And people don't understand. Some people like they'll post a figure of this year and they'll sell it for triple the price. And if you comment scalpers, there's always somebody that said, "No, you don't understand the hobby." I'm like, "No, yeah, I do understand, and that's a crap move." If you're
It
selling a
is.
figure from 10 years ago at triple the price, sure, that gained value. But if it's this year, no, don't
Yeah,
feed
I
the
mean,
scalpers.
I've never, I've never gone out of my way to like sell anything. It's like if I'm going to sell something, okay, I'll sell it to you for the price I got it for, and if I have to ship it to you, I will give you a copy of the receipt of the postal service and say, here, this is all I want. It's this and shipping and handling. Sometimes I'll take away the shipping and handling. Sometimes I'll take away just the price figure or just
Yeah,
completely eliminate it. If I can afford it, I can be like, here, don't worry about it. It's on me.
I
And
appreciate that. I did a couple gifts myself. Rodimus Primal, Ninja Bill, and I think Input sent him a discounted red Megatron. That RED line
yeah,
that didn't really pick up.
yeah.
Uh, it's
Are you
canceled
looking?
now, I think.
I think they are canceling out. Is there anyone you're missing? Because I do have an Ultra Magnus. If you're interested.
It's not an Ultra Magnus. It's a White Prime. I'm not buying that. I'm not
Okay,
buying a White Prime. I can't.
I'll call him I'll call him Albino Prime because it's not
Yeah,
Optimus, it's not
exactly.
Ultra Magnus, it's just Albino Prime, or we can call him like the Christmas edition. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, actually, the White Prime to me, when they release just a White Prime, I always go for the Return of Optimus Prime when he's armored with that special metal.
Right.
To me, that's what makes sense.
Well, what's funny
So,
too, and what's funny about it too is that it's got the white armor, but yet on the cover it looks like Nemesis Prime. So I'm like, make up your mind. Is it Ultra Magnus? Is it
yeah,
Nemesis Prime? Is it? I
they
don't
never
know.
know what to do. I mean, that's one of the problem right now. Hasbro, I mean, it's the Dungeons and Dragons syndrome where the creative people want to do good product, but the management is not on the same level and they're not working toward the same goal. So you have the three guys on Hasbro that keep designing and streaming and showing us the cool stuff that they design, and but I'm sure they get shut down for every third project. by somebody that says, "Oh, we don't have money." Like, I don't understand, how they do their budget for their line, because they're gonna say, okay, well, this way we're gonna have one commander and then one, two leaders and blah. I'm like, why not five commanders? Like, what's the reason that we couldn't have more than one commander per wave? I mean, to me, that's just, if it sells, it sells.
Yeah, true. I think
So
they were looking at it like, let's see, we're charging $90 for US, $90 for a commander. Do you think we should release five in one shot? Everybody would go bankrupt. Although it's like,
probably,
if you get to by the time you get to the core class, you're like, oh, I can buy this no problem.
yeah, it's
So,
one
but
thirty
it's
four nine nine here.
130.
So
Oh, it's yeah,
yeah.
because before tax 79.99, after tax is like 84 and change. My God,
Yeah.
it's just
I don't have, well, actually, I did not have many commanders until last year, where I bought Skylink, Jetfire, Rodimus Prime,
yeah.
and then Ultra Magnus. Who else was a commander?
I think that was oh geez. No, that was a leader. I'm thinking of you know what it is? Yeah, no, I think that's it for right now because that
Yeah.
was the last one. That was the siege. I want to say was Rodimus Prime. As far as
Yeah.
that, the War for Cybertron line, and then as far as the current one, yes, Ultra Magnus being the commander, which they did, I think, a phenomenal job on. They had some
Well,
little quirks on
yeah.
it, but
Ultra Magnus is definitely, he's right there. I always reverse my pointing, but this is a fantastic figure.
it was
Uh,
one of the best surprises. I think the only issue I had with him was just connecting the trailer to the cap. For some reason, it's like if I snapped it down too much, it would still pop off. But if I laid it down nicely, it stayed attached, no problem. But you know what? Minor thing, not a big deal. But I'm still enjoying that mold,
yeah.
and
No,
I'm
it's
glad everybody else is too.
great.
So
I'm waiting for, like, I hope they've canceled Shatter Glass, and I hope, because it's a Pulse exclusive that we don't get in Canada. There was the Optimus Prime and Ratchet, which was a Generation Select.
yeah,
There was Starscream and Megatron that were released at GameStop Canada. Anything else? We've never seen them in store. So I'm not gonna order them from Pulse, because Pulse is $20 gives 30 in Canadian. Shipping is 20, so that's 30. So I'm that $60. You know.
yeah.
So yeah, Tiger Track cost me, because I wanted to get him for my kid, because he had been a really good boy. So we wanted to have a sideswipe mold. So I said, "Oh, I'll get you Tiger Tracks." I tried to avoid getting him duplicates, and so but it was too late for me to backtrack when I saw the price. I'm like, "Nope, I promised it. He did the work for it." So there you
You
go.
know, ironically, that was going to be one of my questions, and I was going to ask you, do you and your son find like, do you have find a common bond when it comes to collecting, and do you share what you have with him, or do you get him his own to keep your collectible display on your shelf?
Yeah. Just before I answer that, I'm just gonna stop my camera and microphone, fix my cold. I'll be right back.
Okay, not a problem. I hope you guys are enjoying the stream so far. If you have any questions and stuff like that, shoot away, please. And if you're wondering what this is about right over here, this is in tribute to Carl Weathers, who played. Uh,
Yeah, Carl
that's
Weathers. That's some bad news.
what happened? I'm sorry. Yeah,
Carl Weathers. That's some terrible news.
yeah, I heard that. I was like, no, come on, don't tell me that. People, I grew up on. I think we've all, anybody that's in the chat has grown up with guys like Sylvester Stallone, Carl Weathers, Arnold Schwarzenegger, basically 80s action heroes.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the question was, yeah. So again, the question was to you that do you and your son find that you guys have a common bond when it comes to collecting, and do you share what you have with them, or do you keep them on the shelves as a, hey, no, I love you, son, but this is my stuff. I got to keep it here. Or do you say, yeah, you know what, go ahead.
No, I don't. Like, I'll lend them figures like this, Fangtron and Slitterfang, uh, and then the weaponizer, not weaponizer, the target masters and little figures. He liked, for a while, he wanted to play with the Astro Train trailer. He made a plane out of
Right.
it, just flying around. So So I let him play once in a while. Like he's able to transform some of my figures. You know, just because we did like the Sideswipe mold. You know, it's not a problem for him. He was 3 years old when we started do I bought him some figures. Like he has the two deep covers, Tiger Track. Eventually, I did get him a Sideswipe because it was super cheap at TFCon. He has most of the car class from Kingdom and Legacy and Studio Series, like Ratchet, Ironhide. Like I try to get him classic characters, and that's cool because when we watch the show, the rare occasion where you'll sit down and watch G1, he's 6 now and he still doesn't give a crap. Uh, it's really, but he likes Transformers, and he's like, oh, can we get this one for my collection? I'm like, no, this is a $600 robot. You are not getting that. But he likes. Sometimes I'll even put out the base mode of Omega Supreme, and I'll let him play around with his cars. So, but I'm
Yeah.
very careful. But he has his own collection, his own stuff, like the Rescue Bots, Medic, and Chase. He just opened Chase, and that's his toy. He watched that show. He liked it. He has all the Rescue Bots from Play School. Or most of them anyway. Like there's a couple, but now they're doing the classic heroes team. So he got Megatron, he got Grimlock, Starscream, and now they're coming out with a Mirage, I think. So I want to try to get that. So it's a cool little line, and they're about the size of the lugs, but they, one step changer. But the plastic is super sturdy, but there's basically no articulation. So
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like what they did with the RID 2015 line, where it was, and I noticed that too. Like, you came out with the movies in 2001 on forward, then you came out with Transformers Prime. But then, as time progressed, you would have like RID 2015, which is focusing more towards the younger group and generation. So it was like cutie. Best thing definitely was introducing Strong Arm. I love the way they wrote her in and made the character very powerful and made her, an independent character, which was great. I haven't seen anything like that since, because they didn't do too much with like Ariel or with Alita One. They really didn't go too much. They did a little bit more with RC, but not too much afterwards until she got the Transformers Prime. So Strong Arm was like one of few that actually had a good story arc and made her out there as an independent female bot that could hold her own.
That's what I liked about her. That's why she's one of the only RID bot I got, is because she wasn't a feminine character. She was a girl, but she was still a big truck. So she kicked ass.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of hate that, the over sexualization of characters. Like those third party Nicey with the big boobs and Windblade and stuff like that. Mike, who jerks off to that? Like, honestly, that's to me just weird that you want to have rubber tits on your Transformers. Like, that's an actual accessory for it. So there's a market for it. I know M3, has them. He likes them, but it's not for me. I like my beef with Earthrise when they said that, whatever character was a they or them. To me, I don't care if he's a boy or a girl, because Transformers don't have sex. To me, that's just, they're just robots. They were made in a production line.
Right.
They're given life by Vector Sigma. That's as sexy as it gets with Vector Sigma. That's it. So you can have feelings for one another. That's cool. But I mean, it was in G1, there was no lore that they would actually have kids.
Back in the day, binary was just a computer term, and that was it. That's all I knew about binary. It's like, a binary program. It's like, okay, fine. Today, they're trying to do it. Transformers is not about sexualization, like you said. It's about robots trying to escape from, it's like political tyranny, or like, you just don't, it's not sexualized. It's just, to me, and that's what gets me with today's generation. It's like, stop making everything a super political thing. Yes, Transformers was political, but it was, at least in a way, nothing too severe, nothing too strong. It's like, okay, one faction is about trying to make it better The other one also is trying to make it better, but they got to do it through tyranny as opposed to other ones trying to say, no, we could do it a different, peaceful way. That
Exactly.
to me is a good story arc. It's a good storyline. When you
So
start getting involved, and I got nothing against with the Earthrise and doing what they say as far as like genetics and gender and all that stuff, but don't
you
kids are
know,
too
it's
young to care about that, and you're, in my opinion, you're upsetting the parents because it's just going to make the kids ask a lot more questions that they got to find out later on. It's like,
yeah,
yeah, it's
exactly.
a very confusing world now. Why are we going to do this?
I
You
don't
know,
let my kid watch a show because I think they're gonna, be educated by it. Sure, I like some program that have a moral at the end, something, an experience that they learn from, and G1 did that perfectly. Beast War as well. But after that, they focus on action and like the movie, just the Michael Bay stuff. It's over sexualization of characters. And no offense to Megan Fox, but she was treated like shit on set. You know,
yeah,
like
I heard
she was
Michael.
used as a meat product, and unfortunately, that she tried her best. She tried to improve the character, but they told her focus on your look. That's all we want you for. We don't actually want you to say lines. So
Yeah,
that's I have no respect for a production that would go like that. And then after that, and of course the actress is not going to say no because she wants to build her reputation, build her career. So then they got some other chick to replace Michaela, to play Carly. And then in the second movie they have that pretender super hottie, which I guess if they understand if the Decepticon really understood teenagers, that made perfect sense. I don't think that Megatron or any of his minion is well versed in teenager behavior. It wasn't
no,
established.
yeah,
So
exactly. They don't care. They're all they care about is, hey, I'm here. I want my energon. I'm going to kill you to get to it. The end. That's it.
yeah,
That's why a lot of people, like, when they ask me, it's like, okay, you like Transformers? What was your favorite movie? And to this day, I'll tell everybody flat out, my favorite one is the Bumblebee Origins movie,
yeah,
because first off, I love the way they the way the movie started was beautiful. It was like, okay, here's
yep,
Cybertron, which looked like G1 Cybertron. And you're not going to get everything perfect on G1, but the way they did an homage to all the characters in that beginning sequence was just from RC to to how, like, to
yeah,
everybody. Oh, like
yeah, and
Soundwave was
just
my favorite. He just came out, and as soon as he said, Ravage eject, I was like, oh my god, that was beautiful.
yeah,
And then
it
I think
was pretty amazing, and I really did enjoy the concept of the figures because it kind of proved Michael Bay, who said in the first movie that if he was to do kind of G1 style characters, it would look terrible on screen, and they didn't. So anyway,
yeah, that right there, Bumblebee movie proved yes, it could be done. And what I loved about it the most is like the figure lines that came out. Not only did you make them almost look like the G1 cartoon characters, but you went now blind creating an alt mode for all these characters for this buzzworthy Bumblebee line. And you had RC, looked like RC, and you made her into a Cybertronian motorcycle.
yeah,
You made Wheeljack, and I have to agree with Dennis Moulton on this one. I think out of the entire mold next to Prime, Wheeljack is one of the best original movie concept art molds there is
yeah.
as far as a G1 looking Transformer for a live action movie.
I didn't pick up any of those figures though. Like I liked them, but it just didn't fit with my my collection. My goal, my original goal, or what I keep telling my wife, is that I only want to collect season 1 through 3 and the movie from G1. But of course, I have almost all the well, I have all the beast. No, actually, I'm missing an Optimus Primal and a Cheetor from the Kingdom line because I already have an original Optimal Optimus. So
Mm-hmm.
I usually collect just one version of each character, except for Megatron. I had to get the dragon, because it's pretty awesome. But no, it's just the movie figure. I didn't pick up, but I kind of wish I did pick up at least the RC just because of the mold of the bike. and I would have picked up that sniper from the Amazon exclusive, but I don't need another Chromia mold. So
Well,
yeah.
let me see about because believe it or not, I'll take a look at my Walmart because I believe they still might have that Bumblebee RC, and she's not expensive either. She's like going for $20. So if I
Okay.
happen to go to Walmart and I catch her, I will pick it up, put it to the side for you definitely. Cheetor, as far as he is concerned, from the Kingdom line, honestly, if you already have another Cheetor in your collection,
I don't, but I'm
oh,
waiting for Transmetal 2. That's what I really want.
okay,
So,
yeah, because that mold, they were right about the Netflix version. The Kingdom line, my elbow literally disintegrated on me. I had to like glue it back together. So people that were
uh,
saying, "Oh, this
okay.
mold is horrible," it was falling apart. They were not lying. I had to literally put it back together. But definitely, I'll keep an eye out for that RC. I believe they still might have it in Walmart. And I got to drop my wife off tomorrow somewhere. So if I see it, I'll grab it for you. I'll give you a heads up on it.
Okay. Well, yeah, let me know. I'm not sure I want it. Like it's one of those that it'd be nice, but I think I'd prefer to have a repaint. Like I want that mold, but I don't need another
Oh,
RC.
like the 2-pack that just released. Oh, Norbs, do you have that 2-pack that has the RC mold that's similar? I
Yeah,
forgot.
that's the sniper from Amazon. Like they have
Yeah,
that. They have that, but it's just that he came with a chromium mold, and I don't really need that. So, but maybe
yeah,
they'll do another repaint eventually, and maybe
okay,
maybe
yeah, because
I'll
that was the
I'll
only
get
other way
that.
I saw they repainted it. The only difference was Cascade, I think it was called.
Yeah, that's right. Cascade and the other guy.
Cascade. I can't remember the other name though. But
Yeah.
all right, so here's another question for you. How do the people in your life, like friends, family, loved ones, feel about you collecting and sharing what you enjoy on social media platforms?
Uh, they don't care. My father is good at following up how many subscribers I have. So when he sees a good couple increase, he's going to text me and say, "Oh, okay, you're at this many now." I'm like, "All right, cool. That's nice." The My wife is supportive. Like she will actually open a playlist at work and stream me the whole day on mute, so that I get more views. So that you know, she's extremely supportive of the channel and she's extremely tolerant of the collection, because it can get expensive and I can sometimes, there was a couple of times where she got scared because for the longest time we weren't doing good financially until I switched job. So it took a while to adapt to the fact that we had more disposable income. Um, but yeah, the eventually I did get um, like Siege and Warfare Cybertron mainly. I'm slowing down now because there's a lot of characters from Legacy that I just don't need. Like I got Bulkhead and that's it.
Yeah.
From for a Prime figure, and it's a good toy. I have like some non G1 characters like Artfire and you know, just stuff that I really enjoy. But especially if it's an obscure G1 character like the Guardian Robot, I
Right.
jumped on it.
I know the one I didn't see that I wanted to get, but I said no, I can't. Was the Nemesis. I got the Arc. I wanted something to counter it, and I said they got to make a Nemesis for it. But once
Wow.
they jumped up the price, and then I just heard people talking about it, saying, "Yeah, you know what? Why don't you wait till it goes on that Ross discount sale?"
It was it
Hopefully,
was the most disappointing figure for Patriot Prime when we did the stream on my channel. And to me, I didn't get the Arc. I didn't get the Nemesis because I don't need a transforming ship. Like these two, they
mm,
never transform. I don't need them to transform. Probably if they did transform in the show, I would have want to pick that up. But now, I ordered the Fortress Maximus, and now that's been pushed back to August, which pisses me off. And then I
mhm.
got from Magic Square because I don't think they'll reissue Metroplex because he's already been reissued like twice, or maybe just
Yeah,
once. And so I ordered the Vladistok third party, Metroplex that Deluxe had in December. I ordered that November 16th, and I still don't have it. Magic Square is where I bought it on their website, and they keep telling me that everything's fine, that it's on the way. It's just slow because of the holiday, and now it's probably slow because of the Chinese New Year. It takes
Oh.
10 to 20 days for a boat to cross the Atlantic or the Pacific. It's been
Hmm.
3, it's been 90 days. So I'm waiting until it's a full 3 months. Then I'm going to say, send me another one. I don't want them to refund me because they had a sale going on. I haven't checked. I don't know
Yeah,
if the sale is still going on because I want it at the price I paid for,
yeah, but it's just it's insulting and aggravating at the fact that you purchase something, they tell you a date, and then it's like they're making you wait more and more. It's kind of like with the issue with HasLab and Depthsaurus with a few people, where it's like, okay, it's out. How come they're getting it, but we're not? And then these guys haven't even gotten a freaking email.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. It's like you pay good money for something that you're expecting to get at this date and time, and then they turn around and they don't even give you the courtesy of saying, "Oh, we're running late on it. We made a lot, however, we're back because something went wrong with our machinery. Please accept our apologies. We will credit, at least offer
Yeah.
something as compensation, and
Yeah.
stop doing."
Thank you.
So, so what motivated you to becoming a YouTube reviewer? And I already said that question. I apologize. Now this
No,
one
no,
I
no.
didn't. So
What motivated me to be a YouTuber?
yeah.
No, we didn't. We talk about being a collector, but
Okay.
a
Okay.
YouTuber.
So
It was the pandemic, and we were spending a lot of time at home, and I really wanted to do something on YouTube, but I didn't want to do toy reviews. Not to start with. So I was watching the Warfare Cybertron show on Netflix. Everybody was complaining about the voice acting. So I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to present voice actors to the public. And it's been 3 years now. Actually, my anniversary is in 7 days. I should try to do something. But I started that because I mentioned it to Kato, and he hates being credited for me doing YouTube, but um, he gave me that little confident push, saying,
right.
I said, I'm thinking of doing YouTube. I want to do something. I don't think I mentioned voice acting, and he just replied, well, do it and let me know when you do. So, and Kato was at the time my all-time favorite toy reviewer, and I really wanted to become his friend. And that's one of the problem, really, with why I started.
Hmm.
Um, when you're in school and you want to hang out with a group of of people, so you start doing what they do because in your mind, because you do the same thing, they're gonna find you cooler and invite you to do stuff.
Yep.
That's kind of how I was. I was 41, 42 at the time, and that was still my mentality. And I have to be honest, it was frustrating for a while, because in my mind, I'm like, why am I not being invited when they talk about a new show, the voice acting, and stuff like that? But then I had to realize these guys they don't owe me anything. I have to make my own way, make my own proof, and
Yeah.
build my channel my way. So if one thing I'll give an advice to anybody who starts YouTubing, don't do it because you want to join people online, or you have to do it for yourself. Eventually it became just that I want to do it for myself because I realized that doing the voice acting stuff, I really like the editing part, I like the research part. I mean, it's long and it's tenuous, and I'm not as good or diligent as I used to be. I used to produce a video every 3 weeks, but now I don't. It's sometimes 6 weeks for voice actor, but I have the toy reviews and stuff like that, yeah, in between. But I
That.
really,
Yeah.
when I started interviewing actors, um, that was a fluke. Basically, John Machida Jr., who voiced Blur, commented on his spotlight on YouTube, and he said that after 40 years, or 30 years or whatever, he said it's great that finally somebody got the story straight. And I'm like, wow, that's the biggest compliment I could ever receive. because what I do now, it's validated by the person I'm spotlighting. He said I did my research and I did that. And then Greg Berger also said that to me at TFCon. He's like, the research you did was amazing. So and honestly, I don't think I'm doing that much of a great job researching. I just look for other interviews, get some snippet, and put it
No,
together.
you're doing a phenomenal job. I want to stop you right there. You're doing a phenomenal job. Like when you announced John Machida, like when I grew up watching John Machida, he was doing commercials.
Yeah.
So like hamburger commercials. I think it was Wendy's or like Federal Express kind of stuff. And he would just like Micro Machines, which is one of his most popular ones.
Yeah.
And then when he was announced to do Transformers the movie, I was like, and as a kid, I'm like, you don't really get to know the voice actor names and all that stuff. Like the only names that I actually recognized was Leonard Nimoy, Orson Welles, John Smith.
But I mean, you didn't care. You recognize them, but you're like, okay, cool. That's a series I kind of want to start doing. Going to theaters, asking the theaters, if we could do something where I interview kids, briefly. Are they excited to, watch this movie because this guy's in it? And I bet I'm getting a no every freaking time. I'm like, who's that? I don't know. I want to see Smurfs, and stuff like that. So
that's like the YouTube. I don't know if you had seen the YouTube joke where it was a woman being interviewed by a news person about Pokemon, and the guy was like, we're calling every single Pokemon by the wrong name, and the girl was like, oh, that's Pikachu, but everybody knows that. And the guy's like, oh yeah, that's Pikachu. But then everything else is like completely wrong. Kids, I think that would be like, Optimus Prime. Oh, everybody knows Optimus Prime. Oh yeah, who played his voice? Oh, Peter Cullen. Oh, well, what about Jazz? Who played that in G1 series? Oh no.
Exactly. The mainstream stuff, and that's the thing. Peter Cullen and to an extent Frank Welker became mainstream. That's why people want them. That's why they're $200 for 10 minutes. 10 minutes if you want to interview them. So I'm not paying that. For $200, I want signed stuff, everything. Yeah, you want a robo send. Anyway.
Wow.
Hold on, I'm just gonna take care of my cold. Hold on.
Yep, not a problem. Hope you guys are enjoying the stream. Definitely, I'm having an awesome time with Razyel Kayne here, and so much that I'm learning not only about himself, but as well as the projects that he does on the background. So I'm hoping everybody is having a great time.
All right, I'm back. Sorry.
No, it's okay. But like I said, we all get sick. We all got colds. And
yeah, everybody's sick at my house. It's a snot fest.
So here's a question that I don't think anybody's asked yet, because I do. Have you ever done a stream or a review? Because, like I know for the United States, you do it in the American or English, but have you ever done a separate one in French?
No.
To expand
there's no market for it, because most of the French stuff you're going to see online comes from France and other French-speaking country of Europe. You don't have, or not in the toy world, there's no popular Quebec streamer. It doesn't exist. I don't think there's a market for it. People who don't speak English in Quebec are watching translation movies and stuff. They don't. I don't know if they do watch France type of YouTube. There was a French platform at some point which called Sutube, which is a straight translation. I don't think that really worked. So there was, my wife doesn't speak a word of English. She understands it though. And she asked me, why don't you do it in French? I'm like, because I want to get subs. I want to do this for a reason. And I was aiming to a bigger market.
Okay, yeah, because I was saying to myself, well, as much as doing English, doing it in French, would that generate more popularity overseas for you, for the French community? But how do you explain it? I can understand where you're coming from, and where you're saying you got to go with the demographic that you feel will draw more attention to.
Exactly.
So I understand where you're coming from completely on that one.
Yeah, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if I did French reviews, that it would explode and I'd get thousands of subs. But it's just, I'm not gonna do 2 review, for the same toy. I'm not gonna do 2 spotlight for the same actor.
Right.
But if I don't know, if a French company contacted me, wanted to pay me money to do French stuff, probably I would say, yeah, sure, why not? I'll give it a shot. But overall, no, I don't. I mean, I don't even recall most of. I remember the song from G1 in French, if I put my mind to it.
Right.
But most of the voice, the dialogue, and stuff, I've actually, because I was more into Masters of the Universe in English anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the translation. I mean, it was fun, but I didn't like the names. And um, when I got Napster, I don't know if you remember Napster
Yep.
and Kaza and all those things. That's when I
Oh, yeah.
downloaded pretty much every G1 episode. And that's when I got back into liking Transformers. And then Beast Wars, and I watched RID, I watched Armada, and I didn't watch Energon. I didn't watch the other one either from that series. I watched animated only 2 years ago, Transformers Prime. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's really the French show was good, because all my friends watched it. We watched it, and we played, and we had some of my friends had the toys, but I had Masters of the Universe, and most of them had GI Joes, and a couple of them had Transformers.
I would say if you ever get a chance to watch the Earthrise series, what was it, Earthrise you said, or Energon? I'm sorry, not too much of Energon. You said you watched.
There's Energon and Cybertron. I did not watch.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard stories about that too, where it was like the story was kind of like a lot of people liked it. I'm not bashing anybody that loves the series,
Yeah,
but I did understand where
it
people
is
saying like the
fine.
stories are like they're scattered, they're not really too well written out, and it kind of confuses people. So
Yeah,
for me, I thought originally it's like, oh, maybe because I'm old, because I grew up as a 13-year-old watching Transformers back in the original release date. Today's Transformers are a little bit different from what I grew up with.
yeah,
But open-minded, always willing to check out a new storyline. But definitely, when I started trying to watch those, it was like a complete different. If I were to describe a comparison, I would have loved to have seen like the Unicron series do and written like Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Like I don't know if you ever
I
watched
know.
DS, where it started off slow in the beginning, but then all of a sudden it took off and it had like 5 to 7 different story arcs. But each
Yeah,
story arc it captivated you.
yeah,
It's like I
exactly.
want to see more. And
I
even
would
when
have.
it skipped to another segment, it was like, okay, I want to watch this now. And it's tossing you around, but it's one of those attention grabbers where it's like, yes, I got you. And then I'm
Yeah,
gonna make you suffer by making this one just as good as this last episode. So and I already said these. Okay, so yeah, it was funny because we went through these questions and all that. So I'll go to this one, which is the voice actors spotlight. And you just recently did it on David Cibola,
yeah.
which was
Today at 7.
really well. If anybody didn't get a chance to check it out, definitely check it out. I learned a lot more about David than I expected to learn, especially with the other projects he's done. So my question for this one is that the other segment that you do YouTube called Voice Actors Spotlight, which you take time to discuss voice actors that have impact not only on the industry but fans around the world. What is your inspiration on doing that segment to begin with?
Well, the inspiration was really to prove that David Fushi sucked as Optimus Prime.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the catalyst. That Optimus Prime was so terrible because they hired a impressionist or an impersonator to do Peter Cullen. I think that was a terrible idea. He couldn't act, so I said I'm just gonna present the good voice actor. I started with Dan Gilvezan. He was my first video. Um, After that, I did Chris Latta, which to date is my most popular video still, 4.9 thousand. So I don't get a lot of views. So I won't live off that for a long time. But I'm proud, and doing the interviews for the actors, that's pretty cool. So
Yep, and that would lead into my next question. Like, aside from the voice actor spotlight segments that you have the opportunity to do live interview streams with very popular voice actors. And how much involvement is there to do with these type of streams, and how much fun do you have doing them?
Involvement, it's really hard to just get a reply. Like John Machida was actually replying to me on YouTube, and then I asked him for his email, which he gave. So then I contacted him, and then we exchanged a little bit. But then I haven't heard, for a while I didn't hear from him because he was taking care of an elderly friend, and so it took a while. So then I kind of gave up. But then he replied again, and um, other people, Neil Ross, I just shot an email on his website, got a reply right away. Michael Bell, same thing.
Can you
Greg,
talk?
huh?
Chalk? Gary Chalk?
Gary Chalk. I
He's
emailed him a couple times, I think. Not email, but I sent him messages on. Like I don't know how. Sometimes it's funny. Like what I usually do. I'll send them the spotlight.
mhm.
It said, I've done this about you. I hope you like it. Some replies, some don't. If they do reply, then I go in for the sales pitch for the interview. But some of them, I'll send them the review, the spotlight, and then, like Gary Chalk, perfect example. I sent him the spotlight, and he said, "When do you want to do it?" I'm like, "Next Friday." So then that's how I hooked him in an interview, by happenstance. So that was pretty fun. Flynn Dilly, kind of the same deal. Um, Paul Eiding, I struggled for a long time to get him on the show because I did not know, but there was another person, Benson Yee, which name you might know from Beast War fame.
Mhm.
Um, he was also asking him for an interview. So eventually Paul did his interview, and then I saw the interview. I'm like, oh, I guess because he had stopped replying to me. And eventually, I saw him on Instagram. He was signing autograph live for some charity, and I said we really should do the interview. I'd really love to have you on the channel. And then he said, "I thought we did." So then I'm like, "No, no, no, we haven't. I'll text you." Blah blah blah. So we exchange. I got his email, and that's when I figured out. Oh, he thought we were the same guy. Um,
Oh,
so anyway, so yeah, Greg Berger, I sent him a message a couple of times. I did not reply. And then Michael Bell told me when I interviewed him, he said, just go walk up to him at DFCon and say you want to interview him. And that's it. And that's what I did. And it's funny because Greg Berger butt dialed me like 3 times since.
it's like he cares. He really cares. He really,
Yeah, I'm like,
your butt
Mr.
cares. Your butt.
Berger? I pick up the phone, Mr. Berger, and I hear him washing his dishes and stuff. I'm like, all right, click.
But it's like he cares to call you 3 times, even if it's
Yeah,
a side
exactly.
piece.
I'm like, not
It's
gonna
like I'll
happen.
take it. I'll take it.
Yeah,
So,
it was a fun interview.
if anybody got questions for Razyel Kayne over here, feel free to shoot them in. Bring up some topics that he might be able to answer for you and all. The chat is
I
open.
work in accounting. If you have a problem with it, I can. No, I can't help.
Oh man, I just recently, my wife. That's one thing I will say. Like spouses and all that stuff. My wife just recently picked up. Geez.
I have no recent pickups.
The last thing she's picked up was Thundertron, which I was surprised that they had.
Okay.
And then she ended up getting animated Optimus Prime, and she's like, "Do you need this or do you want this?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pick it up,
Yeah.
pick it up."
I don't know the guy, so if I don't know the character, I usually don't pick it up. Honestly, if they would not have done Lab Omega Prime, if they would have been 2 commanders, maybe I would. But I'm like, because I really and kind of still enjoyed the design for that show.
Yeah,
But
no, I mean, I get where you're coming from when it comes to like staying with one, focusing on certain lines because you don't want to go overboard with the collecting and everything else. Because it does become a rabbit hole that once you jump in on it, it becomes one thing after another, and then you're trying to
well,
keep
that's
up.
the thing with rabbit holes. I see Kano falling in rabbit holes left and right. Like his yard is filled with rabbit holes.
Yeah.
And to me, but then you have other collectors like Inutabi who went from heavy on Transformer and now it's mainly G.I. Joe Classified and Valaver stuff. Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. Like a lot of channels have evolved since I started. Patriot
Yeah.
Prime still true to Transformers, and I think he's. I have to say, like, as much as I really connect a lot with Kato because he's like my twin. We
Hmm.
like the same. Sunstreaker, is our favorite characters, and then he's gonna say stuff on his stream. I'm like, yep, that's my favorite too. Oh yeah, I love that. Oh yeah, like everything he does, he says resonates with me. So but I enjoyed Deluxe and Utah and tons of other reviewers. But I have to say, I think Patriot Prime is probably the best one from a presentation, the voice, the way he describes everything. I think he's more balanced as a reviewer. But then
Yeah.
Deluxe, I have a great relationship with Deluxe where we call each other awesome and sexy all the time, and it's great. So
The one thing I've when I first, because the same thing happened, like I wasn't much watching the YouTube stuff. It was like if I caught anything on YouTube, it was like the comedy videos and all that stuff. And then when the
yeah,
pandemic hit, I sat down and I was like, all right, what's going on? And I see somebody is like, oh, doing Transformers. All right, I'll check this out. And then it was Dennis Moulton. And
right,
then I got involved with him. I got involved watching the live streams, and that's how I met you actually through the chat. And then
yeah,
when you were advertising, saying, "Hey, check out my channel if you like this," and all, I was like, "Yeah, no problem." And one thing that I appreciate from everybody, from you, Ninja Bill, Dennis, Diecast Norms, and I got to mention New York Hunter and Darth Ravages. Everybody has their own unique way of doing like a
yeah,
presentation for a review.
yeah,
And for me, it's like I completely enjoy watching everybody's work because it's like, okay, you have one that's coming at it full throttle attack, being straight, honest, seriously, not taking it like, oh, this is my it's not a personal opinion, it's a professional opinion, and if you're gonna buy this, this is what you can get out of it. You
yeah,
have your reviews in regards to like, hey, I'm doing the voice actor spotlights, and educating everybody on what we grew up with, because a lot of people, and I know Rodimus Primal does background stories, and there's another one, McNeely is his name, that does background stories on everything else. But you have your
McFeely,
involvement.
Chris McFeely, who
Chris
does
McFeely,
the
thank you.
the basics. That's what he
Right.
does. I actually never watched him. I mean, there's a lot of people I don't watch, like Bobby Skullface and all the Bobby Skullface is from what like I watch a couple of videos of his because I needed help on transformations, mainly
Mm-hmm.
masterpiece stuff. There's channel I straight up refuse, Prime versus Prime, Chefatron.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna watch people do get figures through somewhat illegal means, or people that attack a lot of other people. Like there was a channel which I won't name because I don't know what's your relationship with him, but he does a podcast
Mm-hmm.
and he bashed a lot of people I enjoyed, and I had a good relationship with him. Like we talked, I had him over on my stream. He was actually on a lot of stream from like he was on the Cato Present. He was, and
Mm-hmm.
then he turned around and bashed Cato, bashed Deluxe, and then
I think I know who you're talking about. We
yeah,
won't mention the name on there, but I don't follow him anyway because you're right. Well, I don't watch a stream to have somebody come up and bash me and talk smack, that kind of stuff. I mean,
exactly. I mean,
there's
how
people.
long
Yeah, I mean,
before it's my turn?
right. I mean, there's people out there that originally they were like, and I'm not going to mention names, but like in the beginning, it was like they kind of like insulted a certain fan base, and then the
Yeah,
fan base responded saying, "Hey, this is what we like. You don't have to agree with it, but it's kind of insulting that we watch your program and
yeah,
you bash us." And then that person in return had turned around and said, "You know what? You're absolutely right. I have no right as a person. This is what you like. I don't have to like it, but who am I to bash you and what you like?"
exactly.
And I apologized to the crew, and I had so much more respect for that person because of the fact it's like, okay, I'm not going to say nothing about it because you're not attacking me in general. But for you to go out there and say, hey, you know what? I'm kind of messed up for what I did that. I apologize. This is not my thing. Just understand that. But,
Yeah,
I respect the fact that this is what you wanted, to get, and this is what you want to have. And, if that's what it is, hey, more power to you because I was a fan of this. And if it was like 20 years ago, you jump back in time, you might have like laughed at us because
Yeah, exactly.
G1 to back in the day was to like kids today like, oh, that's so corny, that's so goofy, versus, oh well, Prime was like an epic story. Yeah, okay, newsflash, the guy who did Transformers Prime, Optimus Prime, is the same guy that did the G1.
Yeah,
But
not the same voice though. He made it
yeah,
deeper with the movie or the other iteration after that. But it's
right,
just
exactly.
a question of like if I comment like Deluxe, he has tons of figure I don't like, or I'll skip or I won't collect. But if I say that, I'll still compliment him that it's a great review, and I'll make sure to say I'm happy for anyone who gets this and like it,
Yeah,
just so that you don't trigger people. So
yeah. I mean, I agree with the wording and everything else too. It's like there's
yeah,
some things that I'm like, okay, I got it in hand and I thought it was absolute garbage, and I'll voice my opinions like, well, this is my issues with it. But if you guys got better luck with it, hey man, more power to you. At
yeah,
least,
that's what I did with Tiger Hawk. The whole video, I'm like, I hope you don't have this problem. I really wish people to have a
yeah.
good version of this,
And
and
that's
I think my wish worked because most people got it.
yeah. And the thing about it is that yes, everybody can glorify a figure, but you're going to have that one person that gets that one copy that's going to be messed up.
Yeah,
And I don't expect you to candy coat it and say, sprinkle it with like little pixie dust. No, this is a piece of shit. I worked on it. The plastic started acting up on me. I couldn't separate this and that. Do I enjoy this mold? Hell no.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
honesty. That's the truth. This is me. That's the person saying, this is my copy. Hopefully yours is better. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
But if everybody agreed on the same thing and glorified it the same way, then there's no point of everybody doing reviews. It's like you might as well just group up in one big table and just candy coat it and call it a day.
yeah.
That's not
Or
what we need. We need individuality. We need people to be straightforward and honest with what they're seeing and what they're reviewing, because we need that different take on it. One person can love it, another person can hate it. That's what makes it a review
yeah,
great.
true enough.
All right. So then, my final question for the night is, and you already, and this is funny because we already talked about it. Like you said, like if you were to like recommend what to anybody, what you would do is like, well, my question was originally, what would you say to, and suggest to people wanting to do what you do in regards to not only collecting but to being a YouTuber as well? What would you
Yeah,
say?
start for the right reason is, but also present yourself in a clean fashion. And I'll clarify that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was invited on a stream one day. Uh, I had no idea who the person was, and I took a look at. He went live, on that night or whatever, and I tune in just to check what kind of channel he has. Turns out it's a kid who I don't know how old he is, and as he's talking live, he's eating a sandwich. I'm not gonna join that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's just not gonna happen. Not that I expect everybody to be wearing suits, but if you have your collection displayed behind you, that's fine. If you have 15 dirty dishes, you might want to fix that up. And that's something Patriot Prime, gave feedback to a kid or somebody one day who sent him a review and said, "Can you comment on it?" And Patriot Prime was like, "Well, make your bed," because their kid was reviewing on his bed. The sheets were dirty, his nails were dirty, so it's a bad presentation. And then the kid told him "f off," and you know, so that's 5 years ago maybe, but it's just I'm selective of who I watch because of that. You know,
Right.
I want because I want to have people over on my channel that are going to be fun, are going to be interesting, that we're going to have good discussion. If most of your channel is just you yelling at people, or there's a bunch of streamers which I won't name, and I think they had a stripper on one time. I'm gonna
Jeez.
really watch that, but I do enjoy M3 Reviews, who is, having a beer and he just had a joint and he doesn't care. But that's his style. He has charisma. He has, a very nice display behind him. So that I'll watch, But if you know, if you promote the stereotype of people that everybody thinks we are, that we're, people virgins that are, doing stuff in our parents' basement, but that
Yeah.
I look at you, I'm like, okay, this is the stereotype. I usually don't watch it. So my advice to those people, and not to be, because the end of each of my videos is nothing in life gives you a right to be an asshole. So I'm not being an asshole. I'm just saying if you want people to come back, you have to give them a reason. You have to give them. So if you have a good image, I mean, I'm not the most handsome guy. I'm I have a little bit of fat, but I don't show that part of me. I'm just gonna be here, and but
Yeah,
some people just don't care. You
yeah, I mean,
know
we're wearing baseball caps, we're wearing hoodies, we're wearing
exactly.
t-shirts and all that. It's a
Like
comfortable environment, and
exactly. You
like
want
you
to
said,
have.
mhm,
We are amateurs, but I do like a level of professionalism. Like Deluxe Baldwin, big guy, but he looks clean. He looks good. He does his review, and it's fantastic stuff. The images are super nice. The picture he takes are great. He's true and true, honest. If he doesn't like something, he's going to tell you. And he has that southern drawl, and so he's an amateur, but he's also very professional about it, and that draws me. You know, Same thing with Memo 224. I love
he's
his review.
a good guy.
Doesn't have much energy, but he's his setup is nice, and so that's what draws me. And I hope I don't lose subs because of what I said. But if you don't, if you look like somebody who's, if you're streaming and you're sitting on your lying on your bed and you have the phone on your chest, that doesn't interest me.
No, that's
So,
like something that's teenage kind of a thing. You would expect that from a 15-year-old that's starting to like do a
exactly.
little thing. I mean, like my background, I actually have the basement's a lot bigger because this is like my man cave and all that stuff. My wife controls the rest of the house. This is my own domain, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, I had a pipe burst down here, so this is the cleanest part of the house right now in regards to the basement. I should say, not the cleanest part of the house, but the cleanest part of the basement. I'm working on trying to make it expand so I can get a little bit more because I do
Yeah.
have a lot more to show. But I
But I
try to
mean, you're
keep it
displaying your
organized.
connection. There's nothing dirty on screen. So that's fine. And it bugs me that I have that exercise bike showing right now, but I'm actually running out of room for a couple things. But you know,
Hey,
I wish my setup was a little better so that you could only see just the collection. So, but right now it's just not feasible. So.
yeah, but it still looks good. At least it looks organized. It looks professional. I mean, my thing is kind of like, I
No, it
try to
looks
keep it
fine.
theme based. Oh,
That's
thank
what
you.
I expect of a collector. I mean, you don't have, you know, tons of boxes everywhere just piled up. Like my boxes are all in those bins over there, but I made sure that they were all the same bins, all the
Right.
same size, so that except I couldn't fit the Titan boxes in. But that's I as much as and then when I ask people for interviews, that's what I say. I'm an amateur trying to be professional,
Yeah.
and I will make sure that the interviews is done on your time. Yeah, I submit questions in advance so that I don't bring up something they don't want to talk about. It never happened. They're very open, all of them. But that's what I expect professional people to do. So I do it.
Yeah, I try to maintain professionalism as well. And like when I do the group up on the Saturday nights and all that stuff, it does kind of a little bit. There's a lot of people here, and a couple of the guys are on tonight watching the stream. And I know with some people, it's like that's a little bit too much for me. I got to hold back on that, and I completely get that
Yeah.
because like like I'm surprised I actually can get through like with the conversations. Everybody paces themselves the right way. Well, like I said, some people like it's too much for me. I think I'll back off on it. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, maybe I'll make a stream next time that will just dedicate it to only like 4 people. If there's 10 people that are willing to join up, cool, we'll do 10 people. But I try to do it as a comfort zone. And the purpose of like what I do is, everybody, a lot of people say, oh, I want to get the views. I want to be a millionaire. It's not that easy,
No.
obviously. My thing is like, you know what? I'm at an age where it's like, I'm doing this for fun. I'm doing this for entertainment, to do something else aside from like regular work and,
Exactly. It's my
like,
midlife crisis.
yeah, exactly. And I also have a goal for where it's like, you know what? if this helps out another reviewer, another YouTuber to get their name out there more and get more subs and all that stuff, by all means, take it. I want you to have as much as I can. I have low numbers. Guess what? You know what? It's not an easy gig. It took you how many years to get to where you are? It took how many years how another person
3
got to
years.
where. Yeah.
The bell
And
curve
this
is
is,
going up though. Like I'm getting more subs faster now, so that's
yeah,
kind of
exactly. And like I said, if this helps get more in, for you, then I get a satisfaction of knowing, hey, I helped out a fellow collector, helped out a
yeah.
friend get to their goal faster, and that's it. That's my personal satisfaction. It's just the fact that I accomplished helping out a person get further with their thing. If I get there, cool. If I don't, okay.
I want to say I want to get 1,000. Like hopefully this year, because it took me a year to get one. I think I had 157, and then it took me less than a year to get 200, and then it took me less than 9 months to get to three, and on and so forth.
Right.
Uh, so I'm hoping this year I'll hit 1,000. If I don't, that's I gave myself 5 years, and this is my third year. But if after 5 years I'm still under 1,000, then clearly I don't. It's not going to grow further than that, and I think I'll stop.
I think
Not
personally, my personal opinion, with everything that you're doing, especially with the voice actor spotlight and the live interviews, that's gonna take your numbers to a new level because I've seen a lot of reviewers do what you do, but how can I word this in a way? To me, it's like, okay, it's something like you would expect, like you're genuine, you're straight out there, you care about the cause, you care about the research, you care about everything that you involve yourself with doing what you do.
yeah,
Then you have the other people out there that's like, yeah, whatever, I hit the 100, I can do this here, have some money and all that stuff, blah blah blah. Come and join, and it's like manufactured. So I have an issue. Well, not really an issue. It's more like if I had a preference, I want genuine, legitimate care in a product versus a
yeah,
manufactured product.
absolutely. I want. There's a lot of people that I don't get 720 views per video.
Yeah,
That's that never had. But sometimes I'll get five. I got almost 10,000 on a short for classic Optimus Prime, the 2008, and I just did a transformation video, and it's at 9.9. So actually,
nice.
that would be my most popular. Well, it's a short, so, and then like the Dicelings, I've been releasing every Friday transformation for the Dicelings. And
Yeah,
one
before
video
that,
did 2,000, and then one did 23, just 23, not 23,000. So it's all over the place. It's the algorithm is weird, and
yeah, it's like hitting
oh
that sweet spot for certain things. Like I had like I could say like doing the live ones, I have like maybe between 4 to 10 viewers. I think I had the most I had was maybe 30, which surprised the hell out of me. And then I would have like the short videos, and I would get like I thought like I'm up to like 500 to 1,000 views. I'm like, okay, what am I doing right? What do I need to improve on? What
that's
do
the
I
thing.
enjoy?
I'm I'm very I don't know what's the word in English. We have an expression at Cartésien, which basically I have a map in front of me, and I
Mm-hmm.
follow that map. So I don't do a lot of variety on my spotlight because I'm keeping to the same pattern. You know, a quick
Right.
intro, what he did as a kid, how he became a voice actor. Here's his role. Goodbye. Maybe a short story if there was something.
And believe it or not, that format definitely works because talking with other people, a friend of mine, he does anime reviews.
Right?
He had said the basic attention span of somebody watching a video is at least 10 minutes. If you go over a certain
Yeah.
amount on a recorded video, 10 minutes max.
That's why I did Frank Welker in 2 videos. It was just too
Yep.
long. I did it for a kid though. I don't know if you know Mark Cosplay. He's on Instagram. I think he does have a YouTube, and his son Luke Forza. That's his channel name, and he does a review. But he had cancer, and things were looking pretty bad. And I reached out to Mark, and I said, "Dude, my next spotlight, I want to dedicate it to your kid. So let me know." Um, who's his favorite character, I'll do the voice actor on it. Of course, he comes back with Megatron and Soundwave. Like, oh crap, Frank Welker. So I'm like, oh, I'm not ready for that beast because I know we did a lot. So I did the video. I did it in 2 parts, and then I texted him. I said it's going to be tonight. Part 1 is going to be tonight, and in part 1 I have a quick introduction, and so I sent him the stuff, and he misunderstood, or something didn't happen. And then the next day he texts me. He's like, okay, at what time? I'm like, no. Part 1 was yesterday. Because he wanted to have his family, and so I told my wife, I have to do part 2 right now. I have to edit it. And because I did all the research and everything. So I did all the editing and I went live. So I did 2 videos, back to back. And even that didn't do that well. Like it's people that like Corey Burton does very well. Alan Oppenheimer did well. But a lot of actors, just the video don't pick up, and that, to me, that baffles me. What I mean? But I don't think people actually care that much. And that's the same thing. We don't care that it's The Rock who's gonna voice some character. So I don't think people pay that much attention to who's actually voicing. That's kind of what I want to break. I want to show who did a great job back then. So
because I think with voice acting, a lot of people don't seem to understand the amount of work that they put into getting to where they are for their popularity. Because like I said, perfect example is Frank Welker. Like, I know Frank Welker from not only Megatron, but he also played Fred from Scooby Doo. He goes back to so many ones.
The most amazing role from Frank Welker. Actually, I just watched the movie with my girlfriend. She never saw it. Raiders of the Lost Ark. He's the freaking monkey. All those monkey sounds.
Yep.
That's him.
Yep. It's like
true. And then we started watching it, and then I see the monkey. I'm like, oh, that's Frank.
It's like Peter Cullen doing the noise for the Predator.
But I think that was sad to me when I did the voice actor spotlight on Peter Cullen, because I think he's living well with the Optimus Prime stuff, but he's not being called to, like, if you look at his not IMDb, well, I guess IMDb, but there's a website I use, behindthevoiceactor.com, and it lists pretty much all the roles, and Peter Cullen doesn't have that many roles. Ehor for a while until Greg Berger took over. Optimus Prime, he took a long hiatus because they didn't recast any of the actors until the movie.
He featured in Voltron's introduction, and he played a character on Voltron. I don't remember the name off the top.
Yeah, a lot of people worked on Voltron. So it was just like Neil Ross. I think Neil Ross was Keith. But it's just Peter Cullen is very talented, but he's not being called because now he's been typecast as Optimus Prime. And the people doing the new show don't want to hire him for Optimus Prime because he's way too expensive now. That's probably his agency. He has a contract. They I don't know if you're familiar with Anthony Ashlag from Toy Break. He runs TF Reviewer, and he actually was able to reach, I don't know how he did that, but he reached the agent while he was having supper. I'm like, worst time to call someone. But and basically, he couldn't afford it. And then I streamed with Rodimus Primal and Alfonso from the Alfonso Nation last week. And he did interview Peter Cullen, and I said, how much did you pay? He wouldn't tell me the number, but he said it was very expensive for the most amount of time, which was 10 minutes. And I know he didn't pay under $200.
No, I remember catching Alfonso Nation doing the interview with Peter Cullen, and I think he filmed it for at least an hour. I want to say half an hour to an hour, at least the longest. And I'm like, wow, if you're telling me.
But those are conventions. So imagine how much money TFCon has to pay for have him there to sign autograph and do a panel for an hour. I mean, they're not making money out of him. I don't think so.
I think that what they do is because I've worked with a friend of mine, and because he, like I said, he does I don't know if you like Japanese animation type from but he does a site called Spyrick and Manga Review, and I used to go with him to New Jersey. They did a thing called Anime Next, and they had it was my first year there, and I was helping them out, and there was a series that was called Kill la Kill. I don't know if you heard of that series.
No.
it was very popular
Okay.
in the States. So this was interesting when I found out about them was I sat down in the interview room, and it was for the people that did Kill la Kill / they also did Inferno Cop, which was like a 10-minute little skit, which was kind of weird.
Okay.
And one of the representatives was sitting there, and she looked all nervous, and she's like, and I was like, "How you doing?" And my friend was still taking care of some other stuff. So she's like, I hope this is a good turnout. I was like, well, what do you mean? She's like, well, in Japan, like a convention like this for us, we'll be lucky if 10 people show up out of like a room of 100 and something. And I looked at her, I was like, you serious? And she's like, yeah. I was like, can I show you something? So I escorted her outside. I had a press pass. Took her outside. I was like, do you see this line? She's like, yes. I take her outside. The line is wrapped around the hotel, legitimately wrapped around the hotel. I said, this is everybody that wants to meet the creators of Kill la Kill. And she had this shocked look, and she's like, can you come with me for a second? And I was like, okay. So I ended up meeting the interpreter for the gentleman, and then meeting the actual creators of Kill la Kill. And I explained to him, I was like, yeah, you're going to be having people getting kicked out of the room because of fire code regulation. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, you're going to get about over 300 people, and this room capacity is 220. So they ended up, they were in such shock. They were like taking pictures, and they were thankful. And they actually talked to the head chair of the convention for Anime X at the time, Vince Alvarello, and they said, we will do a second day because we did not expect this popularity the way it came out. And he was ecstatic. He's like, well, how much do I have to pay? He's like, no, don't worry about paying us. We'll do this because of the fact. But what they did was the convention committee would pay for their hotel expenses. They paid for their food, charge have an admission rate of or a charge rate of how much for autograph sessions and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So they kind of work it out to make it affordable for them to bring these people over, and then that's why they do it like once every other year. If they can do it once in the same year, it's like, twice in the same year. That's like, oh great, we got lucky.
Well, you don't want to do it too often because then after that, people, not. I don't think you get a lot of new business every year at a convention. It's pretty much a lot of the same people. Like, TFCon Toronto, you get a couple new fans. You have fans that don't come. But I think it's pretty much the same gang. You come back and I didn't make any friends over there because I really go for the actors and, a bit the showroom. But I went twice and it's sweaty, I have to say. I don't. That's the thing, man. I'm like, who doesn't know to take a shower when you go to a convention?
No, you'd be surprised. A lot of people. They have YouTube videos from Anime Next that say top 10 things you must do when you go to a convention, and one of the top 10 is you must know how to control your body odor.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, to me, there's people that I've seen that they look like shit. I'm like, okay, I understand that you're not good looking naturally. You haven't been blessed with genetics. That's fine, but put on a clean shirt, put on clean pants, do something to help yourself. But I mean, I guess they're putting their money elsewhere, in toys and stuff. So it's not really, there's a lot of stereotypes when you go to conventions. So I suggested to Patriot Prime, I'm like, do a mean, like it would be a mean, I think it was Bert. I said, for when you go at TFCon, do a segment where people, if they answer a question, they win something, and just give them deodorant. It'd be mean as hell, but it'd be funny, to a point. But
I've seen, because I've been to a convention one year, and we had a little get together. It was called Odor Brew, and everybody bought like different beers from different parts of the world. So there was this young lady, and she was attractive. I was like, all right, cool. But it was like she just stepped out of a men's gym locker. It was just horrific. I'm like, wow, I got to walk the other way because I told my friend, I was like, I can't be there. It's a shame. I'm like, I wasn't trying to flirt with her or anything else. I'm married and everything else. But it's like, wow, I can't even stand close to you just to have a 5-second conversation because the stench that came out of her was so horrific. I was like, this is not necessary. You don't need to do that.
It happens.
So, all right, well, I'm going to close up the segment and all that. So I want to thank you, Razyel Kayne, for coming out and taking time here to talk about yourself as well as what you do with the Spotlight segments and everything
Thank
else
you.
and answer my questions, and really appreciate your time on that. And if there's anything you'd like to say, please.
Come watch my videos.
Give a plug.
You
Go
know,
ahead, Chief. Go
put
for
in
the
a
plug.
put in a playlist, and if anybody wants to subscribe, that's always, the moment I get 1,000, I'll do. Actually, I think maybe at 750, I'll do a stream for. Maybe I'll do a draw. I don't know yet. I did one time, and actually I did 2 draws so far, and it was 2 people from Canada that won, so that was pretty neat. One was somebody who really, is not lucky getting Transformers because of his um, health situation. So I was, I'm always happy to,
Right.
sometimes give. Like, I
What's the
don't buy stuff to anybody. Like, I won't do like Papa Gord for a while, who does mainly Star Wars stuff. He was giving away gifts left and right. I'm like, I don't know how you do that. But no, the only thing is I'll say what I usually end with. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you did, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Leave a comment. We love reading those. Keep coming back. He has more on the way. And remember, nothing in life gives you a right to be an asshole. Take
And
care.
again, I thank you for taking the time out for us, and
My
I thank
pleasure.
everybody that joined the stream. And my ending would be that just remember, you're never too old to feel too young, especially when it comes to collecting and life in general. So, that being said, take care, guys. And once again, thank you for joining us. And I hope to see you guys next time on one of my live streams on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. And I'll be hopefully be doing a lot more one-on-one interviews. So again, thank you for coming out and take care. Have a great night, guys. And why did I just go to this? Not again, guys.